I'm Jason Nelson from Body Image Fitness. Welcoming you to another Friday Fit Tip. Let's go. Okay guys, happy Friday. So today we are going to take a look at the squat. I'm just going to do a body weight squat today to show you what we look for in terms of movement dysfunctions or limitations and how to correct them. I'm going to try to keep the video as short as possible and action-packed so we can get straight to the point. Alright? So, in the intake process, we do what is called the overhead squat test, where the arms are overhead, palms facing forward, feet are hip width apart. You go into a squat, then you turn to the side, and you get a couple of these here. What we look for is the arms falling forward, the lower back arching, the butt rounding, and a couple other things that's going to be a little too much. So, what I'm going to teach you today is how to examine your own squat by looking in the mirror, what to look for, what we look for, and how to correct it. Alright? So, body weight squat, arms up here or arms on the waist makes a difference. So we're going to keep the arms up here for the squat, just for now to keep it easy. And we want to keep the feet hip width apart. Why? If you could master this narrow squat, then this wide squat is easy. This does not show me how well your body is working. So you're going to keep your feet pointing straight ahead. Your toes could be rotated externally, your feet rotated externally, 5 to 10 degrees, and your knees tracking straight ahead. Keep your chest tall as you go into the squat. First thing we're going to look for, I'm going to turn to the side to see if the heels elevate. So if you get it down into the squat and your heels elevating off the floor, we know for sure that your calf may be a little tight. So in order to loosen up the calf, we use this foam roller and we get it done. So to loosen up the calf, we put the affected calf or both calves on the foam roller, right? Cross the leg and we pick the hips up. Woo, we roll back and forth until we get that tight point, preferably for 30 to 60 seconds. And you roll through the entire calf. Any tough spots you meet, any trigger points, you hold that spot. You can turn side to side and release the calf. When you're finished, you can stretch your calf by going against the wall, back knees locked, push your heel into the floor, and rock the body forward. Hold that stretch for about 30 to 60 seconds. That stretches the calf. That should take care of the heels coming off from the floor. Next thing we look at is we're looking up now, we're going further up the kinetic chain, is the knee. Two major things with the knee. The knee dives in, right, which is called valgus. You don't want this happening at all. Or the knee turning out, which is called varus. So valgus is caused by a weak glute medius or an overactive adductor complex. Varus is caused by a tight piriformis or underactive adductor complex. So the knees diving in, first we have to examine to see if the inner thighs is contributing to that movement dysfunction. We're going to take the position to the floor and sit like this, pull the heels all the way. And you can tell if you're looking in the mirror which knee is higher. My right is usually a little higher, so I know my right inner thigh is a little tighter. And I can address that again with the use of the foam roller. Lying on the floor, I'm going to step back a little in the prone position, flexing the hip and rolling on that tight inner thigh. Alright? We could do that again 30 to 60 seconds. Loosen up that inner thigh complex. What I follow up that with after, I'm going to get on this mat, is a kneeling stretch for the inner thigh. So I get the knees up and I go into a plank position. Right? In that plank position, I'm trying to drop my knees as wide as possible, maintaining a 90-degree angle between my lower leg and my upper leg. Stay nice and low and going all the way down, usually for about 60 seconds to 2 minutes. Alright? And that should stop the knees from diving in the squat. Now, in terms of weakness in the glute medius, we use this. This is a slingshot. You can buy it on Amazon. Or we can just use a regular rubber band where we put both feet in, just below or above the knee, and we get in for a squat where we push the knees out and we go up. Press the knees up and up, making sure that the knees don't dive in. This turns on the glute medius and helps to correct that squat. We do not want the knees diving in because then we are more susceptible to ACL injuries. That's no good. All right, so we figured out the heel rises from the floor and the knees diving in. Now for the knees turning out. If the knees have to turn out to allow you to get into your squat, then we're gonna have to address that as well. That happens as a result of a tight piriformis. Now a tight piriformis, the best way for me, in my opinion, to fix it, again, is to foam roll that piriformis. So I'm gonna turn this roller towards you. We are gonna sit on this roller, right? We are going to cross one leg at the knee and place the other hand on the floor and roll that piriformis. So you should feel that muscle a little tight. And you roll it, you roll it, you roll it. While this side of the hips or the butt is off the roller, this here puts the muscle into a stretch. And now you could really get that trigger point. Alright? When you're finished, you could just lie on the back and go for a nice stretch. That is going to loosen up the piriformis and get that knee to track in the right position. All right, couple more deficiencies, movement deficiencies in your squat. Next one, range of motion. Ideally, butt should be to knee height or lower. That's your range of motion in your squat. If this happens and your tailbone tucks in like that, more than likely there's tightness in the hamstring complex. If you go back to my emails, I showed you about 6 weeks ago the best way to loosen up the hamstring complex. We use a super band to achieve that flexibility in the hamstring to allow the body to drop into the squat. All right. Last but not least is the asymmetrical weight shift. So if you see yourself squatting and you're shifting to one side, which means that you're favoring one leg. So one side of the body is working harder than the other. So if I'm shifting to my right, I know that my left side might be a little weaker. There may be a little weakness on the glute medius on the left side or tightness on the inner thigh on the right. More than likely, most people present with inner thigh tightness on the same side as the shift. So you don't want to be squatting like this. And if I turn and my back is to the camera, this is what that looks like. So you see it's not an even V, it's more for wide position. This is something that, along with the knees diving in, is the top two things that I correct. Why? For progression. Once we start progressing, let's say progressing to a hypertrophy program, and the bar is placed on the back, or the bar is racked to the chest for a front squat, you're going to get tightening on one side of the body. One, you're going to get development asymmetrically, and two, you're going to get tightening on one side of the body, causing shortening of some tissues and lengthening of some tissues. A sure recipe for injury. So that asymmetrical weight shift must be worked out. That knees diving in, gotta handle that, you gotta tackle that first. Alright? That's the top two. Then we work on the knees going out, heels coming up from the floor. We address these dysfunctions in the squat, and the squat is gonna be better. Alright? Again, this is Jason Nelson with another Friday Fit Tip. Before we close off, the street fair is on September 16th. That's next Saturday, 12 to 5, Williston Park, very close to the studio. I want to see you guys there. We're going to have tons of fun. Alright? Have a good weekend. Speak to you next week. Talk to you later. Bye.